There's a lot about 2020 people would really like to forget, but when it comes to the protest on civil rights, one group hopes 2021 will bring some of the changes they called for. It starts with permanent representation at the state capitol. Amy Reed shows us the effort already underway.
This next round of the legislature will bring an even more diverse crowd of lawmakers to the Capitol, but the building itself is nearly the same. The statues, paintings, and pictures don't reflect the work people of color have done in Wisconsin. But by this time next year, a committee is hoping a statue of the late Vel Phillips can change that. In the calls we heard in the summer of 2020, Michael Johnson was listening.
There was a group of young people on the streets that shared with me that there was no representation of people of color at the state capitol. And I didn't know if I couldn't believe it, but I was like, God, black folks and people of color have been in this state for over 150 plus years. I just couldn't imagine that being the truth.
It was true, something Representative Sheila Stubbs noticed too.
I can tell you when I first arrived as an elected official in 2019 in our Capitol, I walked the doors, I walked the hallways, and I did not see me.
When Johnson called her wanting to do something about it, she had to say yes. He already had, in her eyes and in the eyes of communities around the state, the perfect person in mind.
There's no better person to display in the success that she has achieved by a person of color in the state than Vel Phillips.
Phillips was a woman of first African-American woman to graduate from UW-Madison Law School, first on the Milwaukee Common Council, first on the bench, first in statewide office.
Can you imagine in 1956, we became the first woman and the first African-American member of Milwaukee's Common Council?
For 6 years, she got back up time and again after being told no on making housing discrimination illegal, until it finally was. For a younger Stubbs,
oh my God, I'm so glad you asked. Yes, yes, and yes.
Phillips' work and friendship helped guide her life.
I would see her at NAACP meetings, very engaged in what was happening. Everyone treated her so well and superb, and she let you know who she was with her very quiet tone. And people come up and she said, oh, I'm just Vel. And everyone just loved on her.
She thinks a statue honoring Phillips is long overdue. And when Lady Ford and Colonel Haig go back up, they should be joined by this woman on South Hamilton. The project needs some funding, about $250,000, and approval from a government board later this month. Stubbs and Johnson are thinking some public money and private donations will make up the funds. And as far as a green light,
that's what I'm talking about.
They hope the impact this could have is convincing enough.
I think it does our state a disservice when those that live in the state don't see representation at the state capitol. And I'm optimistic that the chairwoman of the committee, that the legislature and the governor would do the right thing.
The hearing to move forward on this project is slated for later this month on the 25th in front of the State Capitol and Executive Residence Board. If it's approved, there are some more steps, but Johnson, Stubbs, and others on an exploratory committee can continue gathering donations and looking for an artist with the hope of having a Vel Phillips statue in place by this time next year. Amy Reed, News 3 Now.